Alright then, I just finished editing this video. Now let me just check real quick the time and oh my god! What's good, hookers? I'm a literal nerd, and welcome to a new show on the channel called Reps in Media, where I'll be chatting with other content creators who belong to a certain group and ask them a series of questions about the representation of said group in the media. Today's episode is about Latinos, my demographic. I really enjoyed making this, and I'd love to do more episodes in the future if you guys like it. Before we start, I want to let you guys know real quick that I accidentally skipped a few questions, so I'll be including them in the end of the video so that way you guys can answer them and give me your thoughts. Without further ado, enjoy the show. Alright, everybody ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yuppers.
Alright, you start us off.
Dear Lord. Hello. My real name is Alondra, but on Twitch I go by FlixLove. I usually just stream on gaming or me ranting about Legend of Zelda. However, I am trying to switch more towards teaching stuff like coding and cybersecurity online on stream, but I am getting my VTuber model redone because I got hacked and they took everything and I'm still mad about it, but we're not going to get into that.
The lore drop.
Yeah, lore.
I feel
and
your
here's
pain,
the thing. IRL, I do work cybersecurity. I am an ethical hacker, so I did try to get it back, but that's a story that I will definitely tell on stream. I knew how to fix it, but there were just a lot of complications going on. But it kind of gives me like a little rebrand moment. I'm gonna try to get my VTuber like with a scar on her face or something, like I'm back, bitch, something like that. I'm back. You can get rid of me. Heck yeah.
I like that. I like that. I want to see that VTuber. That sounds so cool.
Yeah, I gotta reset the whole thing up. But I am from Puerto Rico. Always have been, always will be. I have lived everywhere, but right now I'm just somewhere in the universe, and that's me. I do know a little of a nerd in IRL, which is great. And seeing his like YouTube persona is like the coolest thing ever. Like we have a dictionary for him. And we have like the lore. We're keeping it, heck yeah, and we're keeping it, and we're getting all like the outfits and all the personas. It's great. It's an experience for sure. We're not gonna get into that game.
I just had to.
Julian, you're up.
I'm up.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you're down.
Hello. I am down. My
I'm
name
down
is
all around.
I'm an artist. I go by tom.flwrs on Instagram, and I am also from Puerto Rico.
Alright. Geraldine.
Hello, I am Gerald. Online I go by Super64134. I'm mostly an artist and learning graphic designer right now. I'm just going for my bachelor's in college. And I'm also a part of a bigger YouTube channel called TheGamingMasterGuys. And I co-commentate and play alongside my friends, and we just banter and have fun, just doing whatever. It's a great time. I was born in the States, but my family is originally from Sinaloa, Mexico.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
I guess that leaves me. Hello, my name is Albert. You may know me as the Orpheon, and if you don't, now you do. I like to make silly videos on the internet about silly things that are my brain rot. I'm also a video editor, writer, and animator myself. Also doing cybersecurity work at the moment, so...
Oh, look at that! One of my people. One of us.
One of us. DHCP.
Cybersecurity gang.
Oh my god, the Lord.
I do video work. I do a lot of just creative work in general. Right now, I'm trying to produce my own animated shows at the moment and working on those and stuff. But every once in a while, I also do streams and videos on YouTube and stuff like that. So if you are interested in hearing more of my silly voice, give it a watch. I hope you enjoy.
What's good, hookers? I'm a literal nerd, and I am Juan. I am Puerto Rican, and roses are red. But this place ain't shit. I talk about words and stories and shit.
Love
Smell
it.
like broken here. I was waiting for you to say that.
Did you rhyme shit with shit?
Yes, I was supposed to say it. You know what?
Hey, if
I didn't want to be that guy, but yeah.
Guilty Gear Strive could get away with its main theme song chorus being blazing, rhyming with blazing, then I allow it.
Oh, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
You're right.
I'm leaving that in, fuck it. Because I misquoted my damn self. But whatever.
That gives it more personality.
Fuck it, short hair, don't care.
Don't care.
He's not
Yeah.
We're
perfect.
doing it live.
Exactly.
Wait,
What's
wait.
good, hookers?
You have another quote that's like, I'm here, I'm queer, and I forgot.
Oh yeah, I'm here, I'm queer, and I need to smoke in a beer.
There it is, see? Very cool.
Yeah!
That's great.
So we're gonna be doing something a little bit different today. I figured that it would be really cool to talk to other Latino content creators about Latino representation in the media, as someone who's like recently started discussing video games and television. So I am joined by these lovely people. I'm gonna ask them a series of questions about the representation of Latinos in media, and we're gonna see how that goes. So yeah, hope this goes great.
If it goes terribly, now you know that it wasn't planned.
Exactly. This is already a shit show, but fuck it, who cares? All right,
The
so
good kind.
Every day of my life.
yeah, literally, same. So our first question is, what can you say about the current state of Latino representation in the media? Discuss.
Like in general, or like
In
TV
general,
and
yes.
stuff?
Like in terms of
In
cinema, in terms
everything?
of television, in terms of video games, in terms of books.
Everything, everywhere, all at once. I get it.
Yeah.
So basically, non-fiction, fiction, just everything in between.
Maybe non-fiction, maybe not non-fiction because it's non-fiction, but like anything fictional.
Yeah, right.
I mean, dang.
I'm trying to think. Like, I personally think, like, I'll be honest, I am the type of person that I don't necessarily think that there is a lack of representation. I think it's more in the broader scheme of things. It's just more the type of maybe nationalities or countries that get celebrated. through
Right.
The different projects. That's mostly the issue. Because
Yeah,
when I
'cause-
go and I search for media, it's usually like characters are from either Mexico or Brazil when they're like
or Puerto
Yeah.
Rico in the off chance.
And they film in
Yeah.
Puerto Rico, but they say it's Cuba or like
yeah,
Mexico.
Yeah.
stuff like
Why?
that. So for me, it's like there's such a diversity of culture in general amongst all these
Really
countries, and I get it that like maybe because the U.S. is where they mostly produce these things, and the population that's from this demographic tend to be from those countries. That's why it's there. That's the benefit of the doubt that I want to give them.
Plus,
But
Mexico
at
is
the
the
makes
most
same time-
populated country in Latin America.
Yeah, like it's
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
you know, when I'm playing a new game, I remember distinctly like when Overwatch was coming out and stuff like that.
Sombra.
In its glory days.
It's glory
and stuff like
days.
that. Yeah.
Good time,
Rest
good
in
time.
peace.
Good times. Holy crap, I miss those days.
Rest in pieces.
But
I mean,
like,
you
you
can
know,
see
it
my
was Sombra
picture.
and Lucio, Mexico and Brazil,
Yeah.
and then if they added something else, it'd be one of those two countries and stuff like that. So like, I feel like
They ever
there's-
add more? than
there is
that?
a
I don't
decent
think so.
enough representation of like the demographic as a whole. I think they
Yeah.
could just perhaps start exploring more cultures or whatever the correct term might be regarding other countries of the giant
Right.
nest.
For
that's
sure.
Latin America.
So broaden it out a little more rather
Yeah.
than just the big main.
I think a good example is actually Into the Spider-Verse. I think it was the second Spider-Verse movie.
Yes.
I feel that they did do a deep dive. The only thing that bothered me, and I think I was the only one that noticed, the mom is supposed to be Puerto Rican, but her accent is not Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
And to this
Oh,
day, it
seriously?
bothers her. Her accent is Cuban. She does not sound Puerto Rican. She sounds
Exactly.
Cuban.
Well,
And it's like, I get it. The flag is similar, but like, come on, please, just. There's so
Yeah.
many good like
Those-
Puerto Rican actresses that you could hire for that,
Right.
and you get a Cuban. And it's not that I'm offended. It's just like, bro, why would you go out of your way to say she's Puerto Rican and then not give a
Yeah.
Puerto Rican accent?
Yeah.
I mean,
But I did find it hilarious that when Miles, I think somebody told Miles like, "Oh, I heard that the new Spider-Man is Puerto Rican." He's like, "Nah, he's Dominican." I thought that was hilarious
I thought it was funny.
because it is so real, like la enemistad of like Dominicans and Puerto Ricans because they come here, right? And there's like this whole "Ana es un dominicano." Like I thought it was hilarious because está en Mango and Mofongo, like that whole thing.
Yeah.
Like that was appropriate, and I know they did the research for like the Indian Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But you fell in the
Right.
basics, bro. Like that
Yeah.
one kind of hurt. When I saw the movie, I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
I feel that because when Doctor Strange 2 came out, you know the character America Chavez? She's Puerto Rican in the comics. She's
Yes.
Afro Puerto Rican. But they had
But
a
the
Mexican
actress
actress
is
play her.
Mexican.
And she didn't
Yes.
even try to do a convincing Puerto Rican Spanish. She spoke in like
Yeah,
Mexican
no.
Spanish.
I mean, it's the same thing with like the movie that originally. Oh my god, the girl who got so much hate. The girl that's playing Snow White. She did a really good movie.
yeah.
That the original actress was Puerto Rican, and they hired her, and she's like Filipina or something. People were mad about it. I think she's an amazing artist. Don't get me wrong, but the whole movie, and that movie in particular, is literally about Puerto Ricans emigrating. So why would you get
West Side Story?
that one? Yeah, I think that's the name. So they got her, and the original actress is a Puerto Rican legend, right? And I think the girl did amazing. But a lot of people were like annoyed, or like, oh my god, they got a Filipina. I know they're gonna think Filipinas are like Latinos. Well, there is a lot of Latino influence there. I'm not really against that. It's just about how you do it. Like, just make a quality movie. I think there's a lot of focus on hiring the right people because it looks good versus making a quality.
Right.
I definitely do feel that sometimes where there's movies where like, oh, it's based around this culture, but then it feels more like a pandering to try. I feel like it's more of a pandering to try and get those demographic into the seats of whatever is that they're trying
That's
to do.
actually that's actually another question I have
rather
listed
than
here.
something that feels like natural to us.
Exactly, yeah. They're like, we gotta be politically correct, and they just give you a shitty movie because.
I'd rather
like,
first have a
typecasting people.
fun, good movie than it be politically correct
exactly,
or
yeah.
not with its representation.
Right.
I feel like story matters.
So
more.
that tends to happen way too much, honestly.
Yeah.
Julian, do you have anything to
Yeah,
add to
lately.
this?
I'm sorry.
Do you have anything to add to this?
I mean, I still think there's a ways to go when it comes to Latino representation in the media. I was talking with my best friend about Amelia Perez, and
Oh my gosh, yeah.
yeah.
Can't
I mean,
be one.
It's insane. Give me a second. I'm sorry.
I haven't
It's funny
seen it,
that
but,
we're
like,
recording
everyone said
this
it's
a
ass.
day before the Oscars.
I've seen clips. It's bad. It's just objectively bad, and the cast was great. I just don't think they knew how to.
Okay, my bad.
I think it was like directing or something that went bad because it was a pretty good cast.
We gotta get drunk
But,
and watch
like-
that shit show.
Oh my god, we
Well,
should
no,
take a shot. You know, oh my god,
make
drinking
it a
game.
drinking game. Make it
Fuck
a
yeah.
Make a drinking game. Take a
That's
shot
what
every
we do.
time you see something cringy. We're gonna end up blackout drunk.
All right, let's not get too crazy. I need a liver after this is done.
I feel like we're gonna end up shit faced by the end.
Literally. Alright, so we are 6.5 minutes in. Does anyone else want to add to this question before I move on?
I think I've said my piece.
I think we're good.
Alright, then moving on to the next question. Do you think your country is well represented in the media? I feel like we already established this with this one, but let's see
No,
what we can have. I agree with you on
No.
that, but
they
yeah.
think we're all
No,
drug
not
dealers.
really.
They literally say we're all drug dealers.
What?
It's literally we're all drug dealers or reggaetoneros.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Bad Bunny has been trying. I think what he did was absolutely awesome. Trying to get us out there in like a
Bad
better
Bunny is
light.
walking so that way in the future we could potentially run. Maybe.
Yes.
Well, speaking of Bad Bunny, I found it interesting that he went on the Hot Ones recently, and
he
he couldn't handle the spice level,
And people were judging
wings.
him.
and
But
and
it's
a
like
lot of
he's not
people were
Mexican, though.
surprised because they think he's Mexican and he can eat spicy food, but it's like we don't cook the same food.
We
What a
don't.
stereotype.
Yeah.
We're about
I
spice. We're about like root vegetables. Malanga.
I find it
Mofongo,
funny that in
habichuela,
general
yeah.
people are like, oh, they're from Mexico. They must be able to like and tolerate spicy.
Yeah, like my
Yeah.
family and I
Like,
wouldn't get
isn't
stereotyped
that
with
like
that
a
kind of thing.
genetic thing though? Like, if you can handle it or not?
I don't think it's a it's not a genetic thing. I think it's like a
I
literal
think
taste
it's a tolerance, just in
Because
general.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the thing.
I think there is a way to
Because
build up.
I know like
spicy
pasty
tolerance.
ass white people that can handle spices better than I
Yeah.
can. You know,
I
and
think
I've
it's
also
just
met
a-
pasty
Wow,
ass white
seriously?
people
Like-
that can't handle spice for shit.
Like most things, I honestly think it's just a matter of people. Some people tolerate it and enjoy it more than others.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
that culturally like spices
they,
are like
like-
yeah more.
But they put
Mexican.
all of us in like the same category.
Same category.
The only thing we have in common is the language, and sometimes we don't even get each other in Spanish because it's so
Yeah.
different.
It's true.
That's
Yeah.
another
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, the dialect,
I
Like,
think
in
the
the
tone of voice.
States, yeah, in the States, I remember people coming up to me like, "Oh, like you're Mexican." I'm like, "No," I speak Spanish.
No.
This is my first language, and the Spanish they teach in certain schools over there is more like the Mexican one, not the Boricua one. So there's a lot of different things, but they assume because you speak Spanish, you're gonna understand everything. I have Mexican friends. I don't understand what the hell they talk so fast, and they say we're the ones
Yeah, they
who talk
really
fast.
do.
And they're like, but like, sir, have you met some Chihuahua, Mexico? It's so.
I think that.
Yeah, I definitely have. I know what you mean.
See?
I feel that.
No, it's wild because sometimes I have trouble trying to keep up with what they're saying. And I'm like, okay, slow down.
People with
It's like
other
my friend can't keep up.
people in the US, I don't think really understand the whole, like, you got three continents worth of different dialects of the same language.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, all right, dude, imagine that you went to Europe and people in England are saying different words than the ones you're saying, but just
that's what I
multiply
was
that
gonna say.
times
Exactly,
literally every single other country.
Not only that, but just like applying the same thing to like, oh, you're French, so you must have added like cheese stuffed sausages like they do in Germany, right?
No, that's not how it works.
Exactly, that's not how it fucking works.
I feel that, like, to going back to the question, like, the answer is a definite no, because like,
Yeah, because I don't see any Venezuelan representation.
I don't see any.
I don't think I've ever seen any.
It's
yeah.
rare.
There
It's
are a few
true.
I haven't seen
actors,
any
there are
either.
a few noteworthy actors that have won Oscars and stuff like that, and other people behind the scenes, but rarely is it like celebrated to the same level as the Mexican or like Puerto Rican actors that who managed to go through the limelight.
Because like we're literally like in terms of Puerto Rico, it's like we are a part of the U.S. desafortunadamente.
Yeah.
And Mexico is like
Yeah.
literally their neighbor, so it's like I can see why there are more of them.
And they don't even think we exist.
That's
that's the
another thing.
thing.
That's fucking wild. That's
They think we're like,
they think we're part of Mexico.
and you try to tell them like, hey, I got stuck here learning 4 years of freaking U.S. history, and you don't even know where we are on the map. Like, disrespect,
Literally.
man.
This is
Disrespect. The amount of times I've gotten stopped at an airport and asked for a green card is so sad.
I have to tell this story.
Bro.
My big sister,
I'm so sorry.
she went on a plane like and because she has a baby face, she has to often like show her ID. So
Yeah.
I get that a lot.
what's it called? The flight attendant asked her to show her ID, so she gave it to him, and he said, dead ass, I quote, "Puerto Rican? I thought y'all were black."
What?
Wow.
All of us?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow.
that's
No,
another thing,
actually,
like-
that's true though. That's true. I used to have
That's
like
another
this
thing,
friend.
like Latinos, we don't have because we're not a race. We don't have a set look. Like a lot
Especially
of people ascribe,
us.
Yeah,
we
that's
just
true.
look like
a
everyone.
lot of people ascribe
We
like
look
tan
everyone.
skin and dark hair, which is very common. But like I have met
Yeah.
We look like
Latinos that are
everyone.
white with freckles and red hair with blue eyes.
Yeah,
and I have met
exactly.
Latinos that are darker
just
than
see me,
11:59 p.m.
I look a lot more Asian than I am Latino, but people always confuse me.
Yeah.
No, literally, I had a friend
also
that he
get
met
that
someone
a lot.
IRL. Oh, sorry.
No.
I just got this random because you said the black thing and my brain just went. I had this friend that we met on Discord actually, and we did like a meetup. And he's Puerto Rican like me, but he's very white. And our other friend was like, "Why aren't you black?" Like he sounded offended. That he wasn't black. He's like, "You sound black," and I'm like, "What is that even supposed to mean?" What do you mean? Like, why aren't you black? Like he was offended.
Don't assume, bro.
I'm done.
Why did he pull
I
the
remember
mingles?
when I went
He really
to-
did. He really
When
did.
I moved to the U.S. to do like my bachelor's degree, I had to fill like a paper of like, all right, what's your nationality or whatever. It was like I think it was just more the question was more phrased like race and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So like I just look at my body and I fill the box that feels the most natural for how I look, but I had to
Yeah.
fill the other one because of
I feel that because like I'm
that.
gonna answer this part and then I'm gonna
Yeah, because over
segue
here
onto
we
this
don't
thing,
we don't
but,
ask that type of question.
No, exactly, because like I'm mixed. Like my grandma is more indigenous passing. My grandfather is European, and then from my dad's side they are mixed AF, like white and black. So now they ask like race, and I'm just like I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
But going
I
back
fill
to
the
the
box.
exactly.
That's tough.
Going back to the question,
That gets
Gerald, how do
confusing,
you
huh?
feel about? Do you think Mexico is well represented?
Yeah, it's
media?
probably one of the most well represented Latino cultures, honestly. In comparison to the rest, yeah, I feel like the most spotlight
I
gets
mean,
put on
But do
Mexico.
you think it's
because
well? Do you
oh
think
my
it's good
gosh.
representation?
I don't
I would say
feel
so.
like
I feel like
I
there's
don't
always
know if I feel if I'm the right person to answer this question because I don't know much of a family member from the country to be able to give an answer, and I don't want to speak on behalf of the people from there. You know?
Right.
yeah. I would say
There
so. I
was a
feel like
really
there's
good
always
movie though. There was a
there's
really
always more
good-
room open for interpretation and more
Coco.
representation in general.
Mm-hmm.
But I
What
say
do you-
what
how
we
do you
have
feel
now
about
is pretty
Coco?
good.
I love that movie. Is it
I
accurate?
love that movie.
Coco?
That movie made me
The
cry.
Spanish
from,
version,
like,
the
how much
Spanish
I
version is
connected
so
to
much
it.
better.
Yeah, it
But
is.
I
it
hate
is,
that
it
they
is, I
made the
agree.
Spanish version like a separate one. I mean, like it's a movie
Yeah,
on Mexico.
seriously.
Why is the main language English? That made
don't know,
no.
yeah.
Why would you make the songs in English? Like
I watched
I
both,
mean, they
but I
did that
definitely
with
prefer the Spanish
Mulan.
I
version.
mean-
They did that with
I mean, yeah.
Didn't they try to?
They
Doing
did that
Marks
with
and
every,
Giovanna
because
and
otherwise
something.
every Disney movie would be in a different language, with the exception of like anything
I
from the
kinda
US.
Now that
get
they're
it.
not gonna do that anymore, they're not gonna do all the languages. They're not gonna do Spanish dubs anymore.
That
In
would
my
suck.
case, I'm glad that there is a version on the native language and there isn't. I would yes, I
Yeah.
would prefer it if it's the
Oh yeah,
default,
for sure.
But you know,
Oh,
I'd
it was
rather-
spectacular. I loved the movie.
like
I
rather
just got
have it than
annoyed
not.
in Disney Plus that I couldn't find the Spanish one because they said it as like a separate one.
Bruh.
It's not like the change the language. So you know how you go to Disney Plus and you can change the language?
Yeah.
They don't have it like that. You need to look for
Yeah.
Coco en Español because it has a different title.
Oh, it's
That's
just
fucking
separate. That's
lame.
weird.
It's separate. That's what I'm saying. That to me makes no sense. But they
Yeah.
did it like alright.
Alright, I'm
That
gonna
just
stop you
got
guys right
inconvenient
now.
if they go either way.
We've been, let's see, 8 minutes and 48 seconds and counting. Anyone want to add something before we move on to the next question?
I feel that like there is definitely a large amount of representation, whether it's good or bad. I think it's something that I feel 50-50. Because like for every good thing, there's bad things. But
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I agree
That's how I
100%
feel.
with that.
like for every good project, there's also equally bad, and vice
Mhm.
versa in terms of the representation.
Yeah, exactly.
I think to some extent that balance is important though, so we have examples of what we shouldn't do and things what we could be
Oh no,
doing better.
fully agree. I feel like
Yeah.
you need the good with the bad, just so that people can understand what's wrong. And when somebody does make a mistake, I think it's also important not to just go on a witch hunt and instead just try
Absolutely.
to
Right, like
educate
not to
and
cancel the
inform
person.
people.
It's a
for saying
learning
they made a random
opportunity.
mistake.
Yeah, just like they're like we shouldn't get angry at people for not knowing. We should try just sharing.
Educate
more.
them.
Especially
Yeah.
people who like
Educate them so they could do
who
better.
don't have
In
much
a
to
nice
do with
way,
it.
for
Like,
sure.
a lot
Yeah.
of Puerto Ricans went after I don't remember her name, but the actress for America Chavez, because she was playing a Puerto Rican role and she's Mexican, but she has nothing to do with it. She probably, got from an
Yeah.
she probably got an email from her
Yeah.
agent saying like, "Hey,
She got
we're
the
looking for
role.
like
She got
an
the role
actress."
of her life. We really should be
Exactly.
supporting
it
her.
really,
You know,
it really
she had
does
shit
suck.
all to do with it being a Puerto Rican character. So
It's also a case where I feel people go a little bit out of their way to over exaggerate that if a character is from one nationality, the actor must be the same.
right.
I feel that
I
as
only have a
long as-
problem if you're doing that as a dog. If you're saying this is a
If-
documentary and you're
if-
telling me
yeah,
that.
I mean, for me, it's more like if the performance is good, it's catering to the story, and they're doing
Yes.
a good job at representing
Yeah.
the culture, then
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
whether the actor or actress is not from the same culture doesn't really matter, because if not, the world of voice acting would be very, very much.
Yes,
Absolutely.
oh my
It'd be a lot
God,
more strict.
That's
yes.
true.
So like, I don't really care the nationality of the actor who's playing a character. I care more about the delivery, the performance, the story.
Exactly.
That's
yeah.
actually really good. that's actually one of the questions that I have here as
Because
well.
I feel like it's like the case in Japan with Kamen Rider. There's a lot of now they're starting to let like American actors
Mhm.
and Western actors into those like TV shows, which is their equivalent of like a Doctor Who and stuff like that.
Right.
We
But
have Pedro
it's-
Pascal doing The Mandalorian. Like we
Yeah.
won with that one.
So it's more like I don't really care where the actor may be from, as long as they're doing a good role and they're just being respectful.
That's
Yeah,
actually a
absolutely.
really good way to look at it. Yeah, I feel like that's
Yeah.
something a lot of people
Because
can agree with.
you never know. There's people who also like the culture. And they feel a part of it without necessarily having the luxury of being born there or something.
That's true. Yeah, as long as you're respectful, I guess like that's all that counts.
it's like the mentality that the Japanese have with the gaijin, where like they're not born over there, but they accept the culture and their way of life.
Yeah.
Therefore,
Mhm.
they
I was gonna mention
they see
that.
it
Like
as
most cultures tend to be embracive as long as you're just respectful of their ways and things like that.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
here where I live, there's a lot of people from the U.S., but a lot of the people who stayed and actually live here just want to be a part of the community and stuff like that. So they go through the troubles of doing all that thing. But
Mhm.
that's I won't overextend the question.
Yeah, because I was about to say, because we got to move on to the next question, which is, did you ever see any Latino characters in the shows that you watched growing up?
Oh.
With the only one I can think of that I watched as a kid was the characters from Wizards of Waverly Place, like back on the Disney.
Dora
yes.
and Diego count?
Oh yeah.
I guess so. Yeah,
I
Dora and
remember-
Diego do count because they are Latino.
Yeah,
like anyone.
yeah.
Oh my god, Dora! I forgot.
Yeah.
I used to
I
watch
didn't
them a
watch
them
lot.
as
Like I was
Explore
just
as a
glued to
kid,
the
but,
screen
like-
whenever they were there.
I
I was
mostly saw
gonna say-
SpongeBob.
I was
And
gonna say,
Discovery
ándale,
Kids.
arriba.
Pocoyo.
Oh, Pocoyo, bro! That's a deep
I would
cut.
just watch.
El Chavo
watch,
del
like,
Ocho.
Discovery Kids.
It's
I
Chavo
would
del
just watch
Ocho.
Discovery
My favorite.
Kids
El Chavo.
because it was the only.
Dude, my grandpa still watches that to this day.
Bro, really? That's
My
fucking
grandpa still
crazy.
watches El Chavo del Ocho in La Sala sometimes. It's
Oh,
wild.
my grandma loves that, but now we got him the animated version and he hates it. But it's the only
Oh, really?
Oh,
It's not that
like,
bad,
what
but the
is-
original is definitely much more like
For
authentic.
sure.
It's more
One
fun.
of my favorite shows with Latino characters that I watched growing up was 31 Minutos.
I do not know what that is.
It's a Peruvian puppet show that's like very,
Oh.
very.
Oh wait, I
popular.
might have heard of this.
It's very popular in South America.
I had never heard of
and in
this. We were gonna
Spain.
have a Peruvian on the panel today. Shit, she decided not to show up.
It's a great show. It's kind of like they play like a kids like a broadcasting channel, so it's sort of like a PBS, a government funded type of show, but
I
it's
get
super
that,
charming
yeah.
and super silly.
Like educational for the kids, yeah.
Yeah, if you watch 31 Minutos, you'll understand me going, Quiero hacer mi show, solo mi show.
It sounds like Chaboom.
I've seen that.
I was gonna say I sound like Krogmeyer.
Is that the one with the Juan Carlos Bodoque?
Yes, that's the one with Bodoques.
Yeah, I think I've seen a couple of episodes.
I used to watch that a lot as a kid. It was very popular growing up in South America.
It is really funny.
Love that shit.
Yeah.
Alright.
Like,
I'm trying to think of what else.
yeah, I'm trying to think
I
of
don't think
other
so,
shows
'cause
that
I
are
don't
not
watch what?
necessarily like
I mean,
made in
I would just
Latino
watch
America.
I know that
Yeah.
exactly because Julie and Alondra and I, we're Puerto Rican, we obviously grew up with American television.
Yeah.
When,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
occasionally,
Of course.
like when our parents were watching Guapa, like that.
Oh my god, yeah. En estreno.
For the most part, like I remember like growing up in the 2000s, I remember seeing, again, mostly Mexican representation. Going back to the second question, I mean.
Yeah.
But it was
Yeah.
also it was literally just the characters from Wizards of Waverly Place, Dora and Diego, and like that was kind of it. Like I don't really remember.
Do you guys have any Cartoon Network growing up in PR?
No, Cartoon Network was
yeah.
there, but like
Yeah.
I don't remember there being.
It was
any
like
Latino
mostly
characters on Cartoon
Powerpuff
Network.
Girls. There was the
Okay.
Kids
Yeah,
Next Door.
There was
Does
the
anyone-
there was the Kids Next Door, which I think number one was always supposed to be kind of one, but
I think he had a bit of an accent.
Don't take
to
my
him,
word
yeah.
for it. I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, I remember
Does
watching
anyone remember
Lucha.
Mucha Lucha?
Yeah, Mucha
Yeah,
Lucha is what I was
Mucha
gonna say.
Lucha.
I don't think I ever saw that
I
one.
completely forgot.
Oh.
El Tigre.
Frijolito. Sorry, I watched a lot of Mucha Lucha when I was a kid.
Love that.
I remember Speedy Gonzalez. I don't
Yeah.
know if he
That's a
counts.
classic.
Yeah, that does count. I mean, it's Warner Brothers. I mean,
Yeah.
you can get much more U.S. corporation.
That's
Yeah.
true. It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's the issue is that like at least when I grew up, like we didn't really have. I had access to US TV, but like that was on like the one TV that was in the living room, so it was always occupied.
Right.
So like I had to
Right.
watch a lot
Big
of like
facts.
the local like Latino broadcasts. So that's why I'm like most of the shows I mentioned are just shows that they normally show produced in Latino American stuff.
Watching your grandma's telenovelas.
Yeah.
That's like a canon moment for every single Latino growing up is like watching
I
telenovelas with your
think,
grandma.
I think I have a story related to that. I think all of us might be able to relate. When I moved to study abroad, I was the one guy who spoke Spanish, and my grandmother had come to visit me for some days. So she calls me on the phone, and it's the middle of like lab, and we're doing our animations and stuff. Like I got to pick up the phone, and obviously, like a good boy, I just go and say "Bendición, abuelita," and everybody just immediately starts laughing because they're like, "Oh my god, the telenovelas are real."
No, I remember. Like,
They did not say that. They didn't know about that.
I
So
remember
funny.
living in New York because I lived in New York for like 3 years, and
Just a
my
casual
roommates
racism.
would. They would always look at me funny whenever I would talk in Spanish. I always described it as like the first time looking at a unicorn. Because it's
They will
like
look at
they're
me
just
like I was a
mystified.
terrorist.
It's like holy shit, you just like changed like that.
It's very
No, I
funny
think
when
from-
you're like
yeah.
from Latin America and you have like a nice English accent, because then nobody knows.
Right.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's like my story growing up.
Yeah, same.
I moved around the U.S. a lot because my dad was military, and my original accent was pretty heavy. But they could still understand me. I think a lot of times they act like they don't because if it's a European accent, it's hot, but if it's a Latino accent, feo. Like that's just their brain.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
if it makes
So
you
when
feel
I was
any
growing
better-
up,
Yeah, go
You
ahead.
say that, but I hate the Spaniard Spanish accent.
Yeah.
but gringos are like, oh, it's so sexy.
Esta puta
And
bomba.
you're like, mira. And they're like, ew, que eso? Like it's weird. There's some racism there, but I think for me growing
Yeah,
up,
like I feel like
one
our
thing that I
Spanish is
noticed
treated as,
was
like, the
that-
ghetto Spanish.
I think I was. Oh, what? Why
my
would you
God.
say it like that? Damn it.
Because it's a lot of people treat it's true. A lot of people treat it like that.
I don't think it's true, but okay. So
Well, it's
I
not true.
started-
It's obviously we're not the ghetto Spanish, obviously, but like a lot of
in
people
one
treat
of
it
the
like it.
states, in one of the states that I remember when I was younger, my teacher put me into an accent training school after school
Bruh.
because they didn't like my accent. They wanted
Bruh.
because they said that I was
Why
speaking
would they do
broken
that?
English,
That
and to
sucks.
me, my logic, I'm like, I can't break a language.
That is
We're
so
talking.
weird.
But
Jesus.
for them, they just couldn't. They hated it. They hated my accent, so they put me into that. So I would have to stay in school longer, because her justification was like she doesn't know real English because of her accent. So I had to get trained so I can sound like an American,
That's all types
Bruh.
of fucked.
and it's horrible. Yeah, and I am not a fan.
Is there a word for that? I feel like there is.
Racismo.
Racism.
Appropriation.
Whitewashing?
Whitewash. That's what I was
Whitewashing,
thinking. I
for
wasn't
Actually,
sure.
yes.
sure.
That's actually perfect,
Yes,
Julian. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
that's a thing. Whitewashing, and I also experienced it in. I did an internship in Indiana in Notre Dame, the university, and they would treat me like if I was like a different species because almost everyone there is white and rich and Irish for some reason.
Damn.
And I was only me and two other Latinos there, and we were treated like if we were la peste.
Bruh.
Like nobody would talk to us.
That's so
Next to us.
rude.
They would get pissed.
That's fucked.
They would get pissed if we. So we would always eat together, of course, but people wouldn't sit next to us. And it was a
Yeah.
beautiful university. It was ridiculous. And when they met me, they're like, "Oh my god, do you know this other Puerto Rican? She's been here for years." I'm like, "I just got here." So they could say her name. Her name is Alejandra. They could say Alejandra, but they couldn't say my name because mine was too complicated.
What
I'm
the
like,
fuck?
hers has more letters than mine.
And the Spanish.
And when I
J.
first got there, I had So when I got there, my tour guide, she was very sweet. She has a good heart. I do not believe her for this. I think her parents failed her. When I got there, this woman, she's like, "Oh look, we have Chipotle. You'll love it."
Bruh. I'm
I'm
gonna
like,
stop you
I
right
know.
there real quick. Hold on. So it's been 8 minutes. Does anyone want to add anything to this question before we move on?
I always say
No.
that people who are like that are just jealous of my very thick way of rolling my R's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, your part.
Sound like a cat purring.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So next question, ladies and gents. What is the value of having Latino culture represented in the media? Discuss.
I think is I'll get back to you. I'm gonna form my train of thought because if not, it's gonna derail.
I have an opinion.
Ooh, fire away.
Okay.
I think it is very important, and I say this because, growing up, I guess I sort of was whitewashed as well, and I say this in the sense that I grew up with mostly American media and with, you know, just
You were
at that
very
time,
Americanized growing up.
yes,
Mhm.
the general belief at that time was that, you know, America, going to America is better, and America is better, and Puerto Rico
Yeah.
sucks, and all that jazz.
Mente colonizada.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
relate. Mexico kind of had that
The colony
stigmatism on it as
mindset.
well.
Mhm.
Yeah, and growing up, you know, I never really saw that much representation. There was, of course, Wizards of Waverly Place and the numerous others from different cartoons and whatnot, but all I ever really saw was stuff in English,
Right.
and
I'm not saying
I
that
never
you end up valuing American culture more than your own culture, which is like fucked in a sense.
absolutely.
Because
And
that's
for
all
the
you ever
longest
see.
It is
Yeah.
encouraged here, at least here in the island. That mentality is very encouraged.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. In Puerto Rico, it is very encouraged.
Yes.
100%.
Well,
I think the
there
reason
was a
I
point
didn't
where
come out with
people
that-
forcefully had to learn English, and
Yeah.
you know, they've been forcing us to sort of become Americanized, and
Yes.
I know a lot of people, like myself, have grown up confused about their identity and not caring much for their own roots, and having to learn so much about Puerto Rican culture later in life, because
Mhm.
there just hasn't been
Yeah.
enough representation or anything, you know, that I could have seen as a kid.
Yes. I'm not.
I
gonna...
didn't even take Puerto Rican history until I was in college.
Oh wow. Really?
Yeah, same.
I took it in
Yeah.
high school.
Yeah.
But
They didn't give it to me in high school. I was stuck with U.S. history all my high school life
damn,
because they don't require it to graduate.
that
here.
is so
They don't
fucked.
require Puerto Ricans,
Well,
so
I
you
went
don't
to-
need the
I went to a
credits
private
to
school, so
graduate
maybe
high
that's
school.
why, but...
Yeah, you went to a Richie Kids. I'm kidding.
Shut the fuck up.
I just
Now you-
studied outside.
now you calling me out
studied
like
outside
that.
Of the US.
I'm sorry.
I just went to school outside of the U.S., so I can't really.
I mean, I think
The,
my
the
mom
thing I
really
will
makes
say
Mhm.
that it's like maybe to answer the question, it's like I feel like the importance is just like, again, education about what other people in other places tend to be and how they live
Yeah.
and all this other stuff, because it's just gonna make you be more introspective about your own culture while also
Mhm.
learning about more
learning about others.
people that are around us, because like we live in an interconnected world in basically
Yes.
every facet of our lives. So like I feel that just by understanding more of like the culture and the background, not only are you making yourself more knowledgeable and richer in that regard, but you also kind of learning more about the world around you to be able to make better decisions and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Because now it
sorry, go ahead.
offers a different frame of reference to what you might be experiencing if you stick to just your own culture.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and knowing other people exist, honestly. Because
Yeah.
when you're a
And
kid
some,
and you only
I
see
mean,
a
I'm not
certain
another
type of
person, so I guess I don't exist.
And not discriminating.
in some regards, I feel like it even like it raises people's level of empathy just by being able to
Yes.
see
Yeah.
another's
absolutely.
culture
That too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because like
and just
also,
feel
like
especially-
lessons the
and learning to be more
stereotypes.
embracive of
Like,
the variety
it
of.
also
There's
Yeah.
people in the U.S. who still think
understand-
that we in Puerto Rico live in huts.
Oh my god, they
Yeah.
do.
Seriously?
I had someone
Like,
dead
you
ass.
have
I
never
remember
heard
one
that.
time
Why?
one-
I
one
also,
Where does
I
that
also
American
had
guy,
somebody.
and he dead ass asked me straight to the face. So is air conditioning common in Puerto Rico?
Where does that come from? Did they just
in
assume
my-
because you're on like an island that you know you're?
Yeah. They
They
assume
think
that
we still
we're
use
like,
spears and shit.
I think we're primordial.
yeah. No, literally,
so happy
people
I
have
visited
asked
last
me like,
summer.
is there gas
really opened my
in
mind.
Puerto Rico? And I'm like, how do you think
Bruh.
we get to places? Like,
I
how do you
had
think
that
I'm talking
happen.
to you right now?
I had that one time happening as well, where it was a similar scenario. My only answer was like, dudes, you buy our oil.
Literally.
Oh my
Our
god,
oil
yes,
comes from
that's
Venezuela.
Your gas
My God.
comes from my country.
Cooks.
We power your cities.
You tell him. You tell him, Albert.
What was that, sorry?
Oh no, I was just saying, you tell him,
Tell him.
Albert.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell them. You don't live until you had your first arepa.
Damn, Skippy.
Oh my god, that's so true. They're so good. Oh my god.
If you haven't
Oh,
had
that's a
an arepa, you are not
delicacy.
real. You can't hurt me.
Right?
No, but like
Facts.
Venezuelan ones.
Yeah, Venezuelan ones.
Oh my god, they hit different. There was a kid that I like from university that he was Venezuelan, and he would make us those in exchange for helping him with his homework. I was delighted.
Love
I was
that.
like, give me all of them. Give me all of them right now. I will help you
Oh,
with anything
yeah.
you need.
Pequeños, arepas, pastelitos, cachapas. I think that an important part of
I never
also
had
experiencing the culture is
Oh,
because you get to try out more foods and stuff like that. So like,
Yeah.
whatever-
Yes,
Yeah.
like the food is so
I'm
good.
I'm a foodie. Like
Same.
I live to eat.
Me too.
I don't eat to live. So like for
I'm
me,
such a
the
glutton
number
for
one-
Mexican food, man. I
Oh
love.
no, dude!
Butcher's food.
I'm a glutton for any type of food, but like the problem is like I love Mexican food, but like you know, growing up with pabellón and all that other shit just made me like I got.
That sounds
my-
delicious too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's shredded beef, seasoned over a few hours with black bean, white rice,
That
fried
sounds so
plantain.
yummy.
Stop! I didn't eat much today. Stop.
Bro,
what?
you're gonna get everyone.
I'm about to
hungry.
order Uber because of you.
This
Ordered Uber
This was
Eats, so-
literally my lunch. I had that with, and so the plantain you serve it with some queso de mano,
Ooh.
which is
So
a
jelly.
special white cheese that's salty rather than sweet.
Oh, is it goat cheese?
Oh.
It's
Sounds
its
good.
own cheese. It's you can't find it outside, sadly, for my dismay.
Ah.
It's not like you can go to the
'Cause you
supermarket
said
and
salty,
find it.
and
You
I know
gotta
goat cheese is
find
very
someone
salty.
who dedicates themselves to like making it or importing it. But then like I had those, and then I would serve them with an arepa. So I'm just filling it.
That
up
looks
with
so
whatever-
good. Oh
how
my
much I want
gosh.
per like I just grab whatever protein and vegetables, and I just put them inside the arepa.
Such a mood. I love that. I do the same
That looks
thing.
so good. I just
I do
googled
something
that.
with
Damn.
empanadillas.
Funny, I'm gonna.
Yeah, and the beauty about the arepas, the way we eat it, is that they're breakfast, lunch, dinner, anything.
I've seen that.
It goes
Yes.
with literally anything, and
Just
one
eat it
of the-
anytime.
Oh, yeah,
another-
yeah.
When
yeah.
we do barbecues, we sometimes put like yuca, and we fry it.
Wait,
And
you
so
guys
that's
have
like our
yuca
version-
there in Venezuela?
Yeah, we have yuca. So we
Fried
we,
yuca.
no, we fry the yuca, so it's more of our version of chips, of potato chips. and
that
stuff
sounds
like
so
that.
yummy.
And then you serve those with tiny arepa. So when you're having like your steak and all that other stuff that you season, you're just putting it on your side of arepa. So that
I
way
love
it's
that.
like instead of having like it's like imagining having a micro tortilla for like a taco that you're just making if you want as a side.
That sounds
So
so
Yeah,
we're gonna have
we
to do a
tend
surprise
to-
visit to your place.
Yeah,
Oh,
and then we
100%.
serve that with, and then the piece de resistance is something we call wasacaca, which is like a guacamole, but it's very different.
You're gonna have to
What's
tell us
up?
about that, but
I'm
I'm gonna stop you right
Googling.
there real quick.
I'm Googling all
I'm
of
sorry
this.
if I went into the foodie.
Oh, no,
I
it's
came
okay,
from
it's
having
cool.
lunch.
No, you're good.
Before we move on to the next question real quick, I do want to add to something that Julian said earlier about, you know, growing up and being very Americanized. I had not a lot, but a few, I'm not going to name names, but a few Puerto Rican content creators here that I messaged about potentially being a part of this, and they were like, I don't think I feel qualified to talk about, you know, Latino representation. That's kind of sad.
What do you think we are?
I feel like that's a common answer.
It is.
Wow.
It was
Unfortunately.
surprisingly common. It was especially with like second generation Latinos. So
I
that's
think
that-
why I feel like Latino representation
Yeah.
is important in the media. But yeah,
I'll admit, I was at first that way too when I was approached about being a part of this because I'm also second generation. Like I was born in America first, but I thankfully had.
Where were
I
you
was
born
fortunate to
second?
grow.
Where were you born second?
I'm done with you.
No, he said he was born first in the
He is
Americas.
so
I want to
much
know
like
when he was.
Chris
I've never.
Mark.
Have you guys
Oh.
ever had a chance to talk to someone else who was born more than once?
That's not what I
No,
meant.
you're not wrong. I haven't spoken to Jesus Christ yet, so you're not wrong.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I was born in America, but my family came from Mexico, obviously. But they migrated here in hopes of giving me a better life. You know, that kind of thing. I feel like that's a common thing.
It's a very common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
That's
Which
very
I-
interesting growing up like me.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Which
Joe.
I think they have, yeah. I think they have definitely for sure. But my main point being is that actually I lost my train of thought. I'm not even gonna lie.
Oh no.
It'd be like
he's
that.
waiting for he's waiting for.
What
his
was I
second
talking about?
birth
Was
to
someone
remember
listening to
it.
me?
The last thing
We're
you
talking
said
about
is
your
that your
parents.
family moved to the U.S. to give you a better future, and then you started your other train of thought and immediately lost lost.
Yeah.
No, it's because when you mentioned the I've never met someone who was like born twice and then that got me.
You said you were born
if I see the
firstly in the
opportunity to
US.
make a joke, I take it. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. No, that was funny.
Alright.
I'll talk about it if it comes back to me right now. Just
Alright,
slip my mind.
no worries. So we're gonna move on to the next question then, which is, what is the best representation of your country in the media? Now this can be a character, a celebrity, or anything as long as it relates to the media or fiction as a whole. Discuss.
Best representation. Ooh, that's hard.
That's a tough one for me. Chief.
I feel like,
Yikes.
in terms of comics, if we're counting comics as well, I feel like the best representation for us is Miles Morales.
I was gonna say that's the only one that comes to mind.
Exactly, because like, yeah, America Chavez is, she's not as well known as Miles
No,
Morales.
she doesn't count.
Also, she had like a really
that
bad
sounds
comic run
mean.
in the 2010s, which was like,
Yeah, it's that.
It was so
she's
ass.
the Multiverse of Madness. Multiverse of Madness has so many big characters in it. She's just not.
oh no, I was
that
just talking about her
relevant.
run in the comics, like in the 2010s, she had one.
Yeah.
That was just like totally ass.
Yeah, I think Miles
But-
Morales. I think what I like about Miles is that he kind of represents, since he's like in the States as well, like when your parents' expectations of you, like that scene where the mom hits him for getting a B in Spanish.
Yeah.
Iconic. Yeah,
It literally is, it's so accurate.
It was so freaking funny. Yeah. Until they gave her a freaking Cuban accent. But besides the point, I think it's good to see characters like that because you see them going through something. I got the most random message. Sorry, one of my coworkers is messaging me. That's so weird. Dang it, I forgot. Oh, because he goes through like, okay, so Spider-Man is my favorite superhero, always has been. When I first heard of Miles Morales, I was so excited because to me it was like, oh my god, anyone can be Spider-Man, anyone can be a superhero.
That's how a lot of people
Anyone
felt
can
when they
be
first saw
a
it.
clumsy, smart teenager who is also a hero and he has his own struggles, and he's going through all of this and he's seeing all the potential that he could have been, and he wasn't even supposed to be Spider-Man in his case, which is even more iconic.
Yeah.
So I got really excited, but to me, I never really saw when it comes to media representation. My mom never
Well,
let
that's
me
'cause he's
feel
also
bad
like
about it.
partially he's a very recent character. I think Miles Morales came to
Yes.
be in like 2006. I know it was in the 2000s.
Yeah.
during
He
when Marvel
he was
doing their
made really
Ultimate
well.
Comics, but yeah.
I think they made him really well, but I think for me, when it comes to like representation, my mom never let me feel bad that I wouldn't see me. Like in TV, my mom would immediately just change the channel to like something local, or I mean, like you can do whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter if you see like a white woman or a man doing it. My mom never let me do that, and I think something that to me that gave me my sense of identity was that even though I lived in the States, my mother never let me speak English in the house. To her, that was a sin, and I think that
That's
helped
actually
her.
surprisingly common
Because-
my great grandmother was like that. My great grandmother moved from PR to New York, and she was like that with my grandma.
Yeah, because my mom's like, I don't want no Sabo kids. I don't want you with the American accent.
No, stop. I get that term a lot in my household. Just
I'm
thrown around
done.
jokingly.
I mean, there's always that one cousin.
That's true.
And you
I know-
can see
dude,
like,
I
the
have
different
so
when
many.
you live in the
I have
States.
so many.
Oh my
Dude,
god, this
like,
reminds
you
me
know
like
what-
when I went to New York, when I lived there, my uncle who lived there his whole life, he asked me, Juan, do you speak Spanish? Me being from the island itself, Puerto Rico, I'm like, sí, ¿por qué? He's like, okay,
Claro
good,
que
because
sí,
you have a
¿por qué
ton
no?
of cousins here that speak Spanish.
In my case, it was funny because even though I grew up in Latin America, I learned English before I did Spanish.
It'd be like that.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, but
Well, you got
I
into
don't
video
know.
games really young, right?
I Winnie the Pooh.
I love Winnie the Pooh! I love Winnie the Pooh so much.
It was legit watching Winnie the Pooh as a kid. I learned English before I did Spanish, so
Wow.
Oh, what an icon!
Like I could understand it, but I just didn't know
That's
how to
iconic.
speak it. And so
Yeah.
I knew English,
But there's
already, how
also-
to talk it.
Yeah,
So I spoke English, and then naturally Spanish just came.
Okay.
I'm glad you
Yeah,
were able to
there's-
learn Spanish because I feel like a lot of times if English is the first language that they learn
It's
first,
harder.
it's harder for them to
Harder.
learn
Yeah.
Spanish
because
next.
of the
'cause that's-
sounds.
Oh yeah.
I have a
Because of the
couple
sounds.
friends who grew up in Latino households that primarily mostly spoke English first, and then
Mhm.
trying to get them to speak Spanish second was a lot more difficult because that wasn't
Well-
the first language they learned.
That's surprisingly common here in PR. Like in my generation, Gen Z.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of us learn English watching TV. Not me, but most people, like my
That's how I
cousins,
did.
all of them.
Yeah, that's how I learned
here,
it too.
because
definitely
here
agree
the
with you.
education system is very imbalanced. So unless you go to private school, you're not gonna learn proper English.
And even then, a lot
Like,
of
if you're in
private
public
schools here are
school-
like they speak English in like every class that isn't Spanish class. Because that was the case in mine.
Yeah, because
my
that
God.
also has to do with like social classes a bit. So if you're like a rich kid and you go to like these specific schools in San Juan, the whole idea is for you to leave the country for school
Yeah.
or like college.
Right.
They don't encourage you to stay. They don't encourage you to learn anything from here. They just want to get you out. In public school, and I know this because I was an English tutor, and most of my students, they never learned any English in high school.
Oh, really?
But they get to college, and what my college would do is that they would give me a remedial English class that you had to pass with at least a B so that you can get into college. That was like the deal,
Damn.
right? So they wouldn't know any English, and I'm like, oh, how does this happen? Like, where did you never take an English class? How did you get the college board exam? And you get the stories of like, no, they just never made it important because they said you're never leaving, so why bother?
That's kind of fun.
Dude.
So it's mentality of like, if you have money, you learn English, you can leave. Your life is gonna be better over there, which is not the truth. But that's what they
Yeah.
make you make. Like,
They
leave,
could
and
be,
then if you-
but it's not guaranteed.
Exactly. Like a lot of
I-
people neglect to mention like a lot of the struggles that Latinos face in the U.S.
Depends on your circumstances. Yeah, that too.
exactly.
Jill,
Yeah.
real quick, because I'm curious to know what your answer is to this question, because there are, like we said earlier, Mexico is pretty much the most represented Latin American country in the media, in fiction as a whole,
Yeah.
I think. So, I'm curious to know what is your favorite character that represents Mexico.
I don't know. So I was thinking about it for a little while, but nothing like pops out at me because I feel like there's so much representation to the point where it's all kind of like saturated. That makes it like nothing really sticks out. At least
I
in my
feel
head.
I get that.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I think it's in my case. I was trying to get back to the original question. I can't really give you an answer because it's the polar opposite. There is so little
exactly.
to the point that I
Yeah.
was just
That was
gonna
another
joke that
thing.
in James
I do like to
Cameron's-
see representation, but yeah,
I don't
like
think
there's just
I've
so
ever
much.
seen a Venezuelan character in anything, to be completely honest.
There is a few shows like Jack Ryan and stuff like that, but they're like neither popular and not really significant. So I was just gonna joke that Jake Sully from the hits movie Avatar from James Cameron says that he served in Venezuela, and I always found that funny.
Oh wow.
He served in the oil rigs.
Yeah, I guess so. Shout outs to Zulia.
I'm done. Alright, I think the only person that hasn't answered that question is Julian. So, Julian, what do you think is your favorite character that represents Puerto Rico? Not like we have many options, but...
Damn, yeah. I couldn't really tell you.
Damn. I guess it do be like that sometimes.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're gonna move on to the next question then, which is, who is your favorite Latino character in any form of media? Now, this doesn't have to be exclusive to where you're from, it's just like, in general, like, I guess one example that really sticks out to me is, again, Alex Russo from Wizards of Waverly Place. Like, she was just chill, she was like very well represented of like second generation Latinos, and she was fucking funny. She's just fucking hilarious.
I mean, there's good options though.
There are some good options.
I got
because
one.
there's like,
Ooh,
okay,
go.
go.
I don't know if this counts. I'm assuming it does, but I love Puss in Boots from the Shrek franchise.
Yeah.
It's my
Oh my gosh, yes, Antonio
You know what?
Banderas.
It's Antonio
Yes.
That's my
Banderas,
goal.
so yes, 100%.
That's my goal. Yeah.
Domain. Oh my gosh.
The thing is, isn't that more Spaniard though?
That's what
Well,
I was thinking. That's why I wasn't
The
Oh,
sure.
he
thing
says
about Puss in
standing.
Boots is that, okay, so Puss in Boots is inspired a lot, like the Shrek version is inspired a lot by Soto, who was a Spanish nobleman, or descended from a nobleman, Spanish nobleman, I'm not sure, who lived in like California during the time where I think California was part of Mexico, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
But the way I see it, Antonio Banderas plays him, and it's a fucking cat, so it's not like we can tell like his race or anything.
Didn't he also
Yeah,
do like
yeah.
Zorro?
I've seen the movies. It's
Yeah,
just
he also
like,
played, that's another thing, he
I
played
feel-
Zorro too, so the way I
Yeah,
see
it's-
it, because Antonio Banderas is Latino, Puss in Boots is Latino. It's like how I see Gomez Adams Because Gomez Adams in the live action Adams Family adaptations, he's always been played by a Puerto Rican. So I've always seen Gomez Adams as Puerto Rican.
Oh my god.
Antonio Banderas is from Spain.
Oh, there's so
Is
many
he really?
options.
He's Spanish.
Is he? Holy
That's
shit!
why
I'm gonna look
he-
this up. Hold on.
He's from Spain. He's not Latino.
Yeah.
Oh
he is.
my god! I've been lied to.
That's why I was asking the question because
He is from Spain.
It's
Coño.
Hispanic. It's Hispanic.
From yeah,
I'm
that's
looking
the whole
stuff
joke
up.
in Spy Kids.
Me too. I'm looking because there's so many options. I love Spy Kids as well.
Mike is such a deep cut for me too.
Right?
Oh yeah,
I was gonna say the Corteses from Spy Kids because at least if I
Yes.
remember correctly, growing up they were supposed to be like a mixed Latino family where they have their heritage from all over the place, kind of sorts.
We had Uncle
Which
Machete.
I also feel is very reminiscent to when I grew up in like Latin America and all that stuff because like I had family members who were like direct family members, but they were from Spain or Netherlands and stuff like that.
That's a very common like second generation Latino thing. Is like a lot of them are mixed. Like a lot of them are mixed, like, Puerto Rican and Dominican, or Mexican with Venezuelan, for instance. But Julian, you were gonna say something real quick. What was that? Before we cut you off by accident? Sorry.
No, I just remembered that Isabella from Phineas and Ferb. She's Latina.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, yes.
What you
My
do?
character, I was gonna say to offer
She
someone
feeds
different.
my Delulu dreams.
What?
Yeah.
What?
I feel her. That girl was Delulu until she got him.
She
Yeah.
was. I'm sorry, Albert. You
What
were
a
gonna say?
I
queen.
learned a lot from her.
My character is King from Tekken.
Yes. Oh, we have a. Gerald and I have a friend who loves King.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
King
we
is
do.
great.
Yeah.
I love King.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I think
I like
there's so many options.
fighting
dude.
games. I think that the issue is that like I don't have a particular character that I would consider my favorite that's Latino, because most of my favorite characters and stuff in general just don't tend to have much of a determined nationality. They're kind of like
Same.
Yeah.
So like you I got characters like I don't know Samus, just because most
Yeah.
people know me from the channel, and it's like all right.
Yeah, I can't.
Right.
I can't. To piggyback off of that, I can't confidently say that any Latino characters in like my top 10 favorite characters ever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But with that said,
Probably
in my
not for
case,
me
it's
either,
also
but-
the thing that like my top 10 characters don't have like an established canon nationalities.
That's true, because you are very much into
Okay.
sci-fi, so that makes sense.
Yeah, I like.
Yeah,
sci-fi
it's best if they don't have
fantasy
anything.
A lot, and,
Yeah.
so, like,
That's why there are no
that's
Latinos
why-
in Star Trek.
we just
I
didn't
think it
invent the
did.
warp drive fast enough is the problem. So we
There's just so many.
Just throw out a couple, honestly, if you can't pick one.
I mean, there's Jane from Jane the Virgin. And there's Rosa from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Amy
Rosa's
from Brooklyn
fire.
Nine-Nine. Rosa, icon.
Oh,
She's so. I love her.
Yeah, Russell's great. I
There's
love her.
Glee Santana. She was a bitch, but she was so good at it.
Yes. Oh, that's actually that actually relates to another question that I have later on, but keep going.
The stereotypes, yeah. Most of the girls are queer. Callie Torres from Grey's Anatomy. She was an orthopedic surgeon. And she was Latina. And her dad was played by the dude that was the bodyguard in Princess Diaries.
Oh, wait, I have other characters.
Ooh,
It
shoot.
was so
forgot.
good. I
So,
love that.
the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV, which has a free trial up to level 70 in the moment of this recording. The game
I
that
love
I'm obsessed and definitely not playing in the background as we're having this. I've been talking. You wouldn't be able to know anything.
You know what? You're not wrong.
Yeah,
You're not
honestly.
wrong.
Honestly.
It's not like
You're
I
a
do this for a
multitasking king.
living.
I'll appreciate that. My
Yeah.
ADHD ass
It's
could
my
not.
Saturday. Let me play my lizard game. Anyway, the joke
Good
is,
on your multitasking. I could never.
I'm an editor. You saw my intro. I do a little bit of everything.
That's-
so,
Yeah.
Like,
What a king.
So there is a new expansion that just came out, and I feel so dumb for not mentioning this throughout the other questions because it fits. Dawn Trail, the new continent they added to the game called Tural, is based around the Americas.
Oh,
So
really?
it's like a hodgepodge mixture of a bunch of different Latino cultures in general.
That's cool.
So, although there is like a clear Peru, Mexico, Bolivia, Ecuador type of stronger suit, there's a lot of
There's a little bit of everything.
mixes
It's a bit
and
of a
nods
hodgepodge,
of
like you
other
said.
cultures that you can feel in it between the things they eat, the things they drink, the way they talk, and stuff like that. So despite what the community of the game might say, I'm gonna throw in Wook Lamat over there because she's sort of like one of the main characters of the expansion, and I feel that she does a good job at even with the issues in the writing. I think that she was a fun character to just represent the overall type of energy and like optimism that some people in Latin America tend to have.
That's
given
actually really
the
cool.
situation and stuff like that.
So like I always felt happy with the way Yoshi P and his teams at least managed to sit down and study all that culture. And then there was another game, but I forgot at the moment. But yeah, critically acclaimed MMO Final Fantasy 14 is super fun.
Yes.
My problem is, it sounds enticing, but if I get into it, that's all I'm gonna be doing all day. I already know.
I know,
Here's the
right?
thing.
Same.
Yeah,
like,
I was the same.
I know
started
that and I,
during
we
the
were just
pandemic
talking about that
time.
with another friend of ours.
Yeah.
I mean, now as I'm saying this, in case you need my recording, I'm putting my character on it, so now you gotta deal
I
with
love that. What a fucking king you are, Albert.
But yeah, like
He really is. Like, damn.
like I'm playing the game right now as I'm saying.
My ADHD ass could never.
It's the way I can. It's the way I've learned to manage a little bit with it. My mind is too active, so I gotta keep it busy.
Right? I feel that.
Kinesthetically.
Okay.
So I'm just clearing out my inventory.
Oh no, Wi-Fi.
Alright, Julian's Wi-Fi is acting up real quick, so...
Dang it, I thought that was gonna be sad. It said sad porn, but now it sounds like I'm making fun of him.
Join Eorzea today.
so-
It's free. They don't ask you for your credit card.
Ooh, that's even better. I'll definitely consider that at the time of this recording,
If
which
you
is,
if any of you guys
the
ever
literally
join,
beginning of
feel free to
March.
drop me a line. I'd be more than happy to help with everything.
Bet. Alright, just give me 1 second here.
That's so good. That's so good.
That was so perfect, I hate it.
But yeah, the new continent is based around Latin, North and South America.
Yeah, I know in Genshin the
we
last
get
region they
people
did,
with
but they got
Latino
so much
accents
hate.
with thick Latino accents, and we get people with thick Texan accents.
Thick.
That's how you do. I mean, there's companies that just don't know how to do it. I know Genshin got a lot of hate because they released a region that is based on like Latin America, but none of the characters have like dark skin. And you know they got called out, they got canceled, and they're like, oh, we just don't know because we haven't seen them in real life.
I feel that like that won't happen in 14 because if somebody's complaining about the literal humanoid anthropomorphic cat person not being too dark.
So, but at least for me, the way I see it is not that I don't really care that much because it's a Chinese company. I feel like they're not gonna cater to what you want. They're still anime characters.
They just want your money at the end of the day. It's gacha.
Yeah, like,
If it's
yeah,
gacha, yeah,
exactly.
100%.
It is what it is. It's a gacha game. We were like, oh my god, we waited so long for this region, and then the region we're getting this year is Russia. So obviously, everyone like.
I've only played one gacha game, and it fortunately and sadly is dead. And,
What game was it?
Near Reincarnation.
Okay, got it. I'll let everyone know that.
Because I'm a big
Back
Nier
whenever.
fan, and that was the official
Alright,
Nier
ladies.
3, and I'm so sad that it's gone.
Okay.
So I'm gonna move on to the next question, which
Alright.
is something that
Can you
I
give
ask
me-
myself a lot, and I don't have a set
Can you give me 2
opinion on it.
seconds so I can-
So this next question is, if a Latino actor were to play as a non-Latino character, such as Pedro Pascal as Joel from The Last of Us, or Ariana Grande being Glinda, the Good Witch, does this still count as Latino representation? Yes or no?
I want to say yes because the actor is still from that nationality.
Yeah.
I get it that the character
At least the
isn't.
Mm-hmm.
talent.
Yeah, but the talent, if the talent is it, and you see the like, if it were an animated feature, I'd probably say no because you're seeing the characters design more.
Yeah.
Right.
But in the case of like,
I
you know,
agree.
The Last of Us, I would say so because you're still looking at Pedro Pascal even if he's playing
Yeah.
someone who's supposed to be
Mhm.
from the U.S.
It's still
Yeah,
apparent
it
you know
makes
who they
people
are.
want to learn. Yeah, it makes
Yeah.
people want to learn. It's kind of like
and, you know,
women on that
people-
episode with
there are
Hamilton.
people from you know, abroad who have perfect English and they sound just like any other U.S. Person and stuff like that. So like I'd say that in my book at least, yes. in the regard that because you can see the actor and you have to see their performance and all that other stuff, it's gotta count something.
Okay.
Yeah.
I suppose you're
Because
right
if not,
on that.
if not, they could have hired. They could have like at least for the case of like Pedro Pascal as Joel, I think they could have hired almost any other actor to fill that role. But so the fact that they went with Pedro
to piggyback
shows
off
that
of
they
that,
were really just
they hired
looking at
Pedro
more of the
Pascal to be Reed Richards when they already had John Krasinski in Multiverse
Yeah.
of Madness.
Because it's also the case where, like, I see some, Latino actors and actresses who just get roles as foreign characters because sometimes they're better at playing those particular roles.
Right.
You know? So I feel
Something
like
that comes
it's
to mind when you say that. Sorry for nerd. Something
No,
that comes
go
to
ahead.
mind for me. Yeah. Something I think of a lot when you mentioned that was so for the One Piece live action, the actor that they got for Luffy is actually an Mexican actor. I think his name is
Iñaki Godoy, yeah.
Hirako Godoy, yeah.
Oh, he did
That was
so
so
good.
huge to see for me. I did not expect that. I was like, whoa.
Well, Luffy
Like-
himself, actually, you know what? Back when I
Luffy's
said about the
Isn't-
top 10 characters, yeah,
Luffy's
Luffy
supposed
is
to be
Latino.
Brazilian, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's supposed to be Brazilian according to Oda.
yeah. So
But
there, I can say
I
that I,
think this
have a
is
top
the
10
case
Latino
where-
character. Haha.
I mean, him and isn't Sanji also Latino? Or is he like
Sanji? He's.
I'm not sure.
He said that
The
his,
actor.
the actor, yeah, I know. He said that his dad is from the Canary Islands, so I'm not sure. Julian's back! Yay!
welcome back.
I'm
Right.
Yeah, but to me,
Julian,
that's
the
like so
question is
huge
right
to
here
see that
on the
representation.
bottom.
And he plays the character so well. Like,
Oh,
it's
yes.
actually
The
incredible.
casting was perfect.
Oh,
I
that-
really did say absolutely perfect casting.
Oda, the creator of One Piece, he even said, like, I saw your audition tape and I was like, that's Luffy.
That's Luffy.
Mhm.
I saw a video where they met, actually. It was the most wholesome thing I've ever seen. I was actually tearing up.
Yeah.
Yes, it was precious. It was precious. Yes. He
Yeah.
also met like the VA for the anime, the OG one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she even laughed like Luffy. What a queen.
Yeah.
Right?
She's just laughing. It's literally just Luffy. Like she is
Literally.
Luffy.
Right. Does anyone have anything else to add to this question? Julian, any thoughts?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Dog, I said it was right here on the bottom.
Ya lo vi, my
Yeah,
bad.
I said if a Latino actor were cast as a white character or like non-Latino character, such as like Pedro Pascal being Joel or Ariana Grande being
Okay.
Glinda, does it still count as Latino representation? Yes or no?
I thought you pronounced it Galinda
Huh.
with a ga.
That's right, it's Galinda with a G.
Galinda.
She changes it.
She does change it.
Wow. I mean, I think to an extent, because
Yeah.
it definitely, it gives careers, like
True.
Like opportunities. Like it
it
shows
gives
that we can do
opportunities
anything.
to, yeah, exactly. And even if the character that they're playing isn't Latino, you can acknowledge that the actor is Latino, and
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
my mom every time she sees an actor that she knows is Latino, she points it out. She's like, "Oh,
My
that's
mom
Pedro
does the same
Pascal."
exact thing.
Yeah,
Hey, my mom.
Mhm. It's very much.
Mom
a source
gets
of
so
national pride.
excited. Yes.
Mhm.
It really is, yeah. Like Dee Dee going to 6 on Broadway.
These answers were a lot more wholesome than I thought. Shit.
yeah.
You
Like,
thought
for
we
this
were
one
gonna bring
specifically.
drama?
Well, I
Why?
always expect
It's
tea,
gonna
but
be-
you know,
I'm trying
Imagine.
Yeah,
We're
the
funny
tea.
little guys.
we are funny little guys. Yeah. Especially.
Funny,
you
if you
two.
want tea, just go to the TGMG call, bro. Like,
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. There's always tea there.
You can always.
Oh
you
my
can find
gosh.
tea so easily in the sea.
I feel like this is the most wholesome podcast I've been in, to be honest.
Bruh.
Yay!
It's like
Oh,
the
yeah.
opposite of a bro
Unwholesome
podcast.
right now. Shit.
Literally. The opposite.
Considering the
of
friend group I'm usually around, like, they're super vulgar, so you guys are so chill. In comparison, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's true.
That's true.
I'm surprised you said that about me. You know, I curse like a sailor.
No, yeah.
It depends.
He's got a mouth on him.
If y'all
Nah,
If
shut
y'all
up.
play
How is he supposed to be?
Among Us with him, oh my gosh, the quotes, y'all. You gotta
I've
send
seen
them
the videos.
the
I've
quotes
seen the
video.
videos.
You've seen it?
Yes.
The last The one you did for XMARC birthday,
yeah.
I have the video
Yeah.
on repeat. There's two
I'm in
quotes
Mark
there by
servers,
me.
so I
That
see everything.
I know. Here's the thing. There's two quotes there that I don't remember saying, but they're so good.
Oh
They're
yeah,
so
there's
good.
one where
I'm
I
like,
said,
I was cooking.
That's true. There was one where I was like, I had just like broken up with my boyfriend at the time, and I said, I don't need a soulmate. I'm my own soulmate. And then I said, yes, that's what I'm talking about. Why should I be half of something when I'm already full of me?
If you're
Heck
not,
yeah.
I was cooking that day because I don't remember saying that, but that was so good
Right?
that I wrote it down. I'm like, heck yeah! I don't know what I think it was good, but I think the funny one is, see you loyal. I'm like, Marcos. I don't know why I said Marcos in such a weird tone.
Yes.
Like it sounded Spanish.
It did sound
Like
Spanish. Yes. It came from your soul.
It really did.
Alright.
I mean, he killed me like 4 times that day.
Alright,
He told me, "I love you," and just murder me.
A very marker thing to do. Alright, so I'm gonna move on to the next question, which I'm curious to see all your guys' responses to this one. So, according to a report by McKinsey and Company, Latinos make up about 4% of all leading and co-leading roles, despite being an estimated 19% of the US population. Why do you think this is, and how do you think this can be rectified? Discuss.
That's so minimal. Oh my gosh.
It is.
Rectified? And that's a big word.
The way I think it can be rectified is just like, write more Latino characters. Like, again, like we're an estimated 19% in the US population.
Yeah, but I think it also has to do with like career opportunities and where you are.
That's
not everybody's
true.
in LA.
Like,
Not everybody has
Yeah,
money
that's
to
true.
like audition or
I
take
feel that,
acting or
like-
dancing classes.
yeah.
It's the same in the dance industry. Like I'm a dancer, and we literally only have one black dancer, and we're here in the island.
It's pretty systematic.
It's the systematic thing, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
Albert, you
And
were gonna
most
say
dancers are
something,
like
right?
white as well.
a way that you can sort of rectify it is not by just doing more Latino projects that talk about Latino culture or Latino problems and stuff like that, but just allowing more Latino art to
Yes.
spread
Absolutely.
I
naturally.
agree, because
Yeah.
we're not
No matter
just our
what is
culture,
the
like we're
focus
people
of the,
too.
Of the point.
Exactly.
Yeah, basically just humble them.
I don't
Exactly.
feel like you should just limit it to the things that are representing a particular culture, but just allowing those voices to tell their stories and all that other stuff, because in that way, then
Without
you make
fear of
it less-
judgment.
you make it less about like the representation and more
Mhm.
about the
Character
empathy that
first,
you
the
can have
representation
with-
second is basically what you're
that
saying,
you can
right?
have with
Exactly.
the other
You gotta
person
stop focusing
or
so much
the
on that.
writer's plight and all this other stuff. So you're
Mhm.
invoking more empathy, because in the end of the day, we're all in the same boat. We're all gonna go through the same
Exactly.
issues.
Yeah, exactly.
So that I feel
I
that
think
by
it's an issue of
allowing
like
those voices, you just find their audiences or people to reach out. You can start helping more with that than just doing what some companies do, which is like, all right, we need to cater to this demographic. Quick, make a movie based around the
Exactly.
country.
Yeah, exactly.
And then,
Yeah.
like,
And I feel
and then
like
they
a
end
lot
up
of
getting
people-
called awards for it.
Oh, go ahead, Joe.
Like, I feel that it's just like try and get more involved with projects and businesses that are run, that could be run by people from Latino descent or they're Latinos and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
not
Yeah.
are just chained it to the fact that they have to spoon feed and just represent the culture.
Yeah, because Mexican is not a character.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Puerto Rican is not a character. Those are just that's a
The
trait.
way we can beat part of the stereotype and all this other stuff is by just showing that we're all the same. And I feel that with art, that's such a great thing to do, because empathy, goes beyond just cultures and backgrounds.
Right, exactly. Alright, does anyone else have anything
Yeah,
to add to this one before we move on?
He cooked that one. We good.
No, Albert literally cooked. He's such a king. I love him.
Right?
Bro's cooking the whole
Good
time.
icon.
Like,
Most
Good
in-depth
icon.
answer.
We're all just bowing down to Albert. Oh, hail Albert! Of the Orpheon.
Can you do my school presentations for me?
4 años más. 4 años más.
Cuatro años más. Yeah!
You guys flatter me. No, I mean, I just think that like it comes to the point where most of the time when you see like a Latino project, it's like focused around the representation of the culture. But I feel that there's so much that you can show and say by just
Yeah.
embracing artists from those regions, and that way the art from your own region itself is just gonna become more enriched because there is another outlet for people.
Absolutely.
Yes. 100%.
Don't just stick to one act ponies, one trick ponies, and one
No,
goal.
exactly.
If the goal is to just everybody be the same, then everybody goes through the same shit in the end of the day.
No, exactly. We
Humbleizing
all
the
end up in the dirt
culture.
anyway.
Yeah.
No,
Humbleizing the culture, not putting so much of a spotlight on it that it makes a big
Yeah,
deal out of
that's
it.
what I
Like, that's
say.
for people.
Exactly. I think that's the issue. They
That's my,
Not,
They go
not
to-
like
they
in
go
a
to
bad way.
extremes.
yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah,
I think it's
it
the issue
deserves the
is too
attention,
extreme.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree that it's good to see it and that there's an attention. I hate it when it's just the whole sole focus point about it.
Yes,
and it's
yes,
more
yes. And then
beyond.
like nothing else is
Yeah.
even considered because
Which
people are
is
too busy
why
focused on it.
I like a
Mm-hmm.
lot the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV. Because it does a good job at that. Like
It does.
represents this nice mixture of the culture, but it doesn't just stick to that lane. And whatever it's doing as that case is more like a world building, so that the player can understand the type of lives that people have on this
Mhm.
planet. It's
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
before you're thrusted into the journey and how characters outside of that continent react to the struggles of this continent and whether or not it's right for them to act upon it and all this other stuff. So like it's
It's very much a really good way to integrate Latinos into fantasy, which I know a lot of people struggle with, and that's actually another question
It's
that I
so
have a little
cool.
later on. We're almost done with these. We're like over halfway through.
oh my god.
Mm-hmm. Julian, since you've been a little quiet for this one, do you have anything to add to this one?
I think education is also pretty important in regards to the different cultures that are, at least mostly in the U.S., so full of culture, and there's very little education about it,
Yeah,
and
very little represented about it.
yeah,
Being,
yeah,
like,
and
a literal melting pot of different cultures.
yeah, and moving back to that Emilia Perez I mentioned before, I recall the director saying that he did not need any information on Mexico, and
What?
because
Before
he
making the
knew
movie?
enough about it, and this is the kind
Why
of
would
thing.
you? Why would you admit that
Is he?
publicly? Like
But
that's
is he
just
Mexican
dumb.
though? Wait a minute, hold up. Is he Mexican though?
No, I
What?
believe he's European.
What? Colonizer?
But I might be wrong. Yeah.
Colonizer, not the colonizer.
The point is, yes, it's some dude who was set out to make, I don't know what he wanted to make, but the point is, he made it
A
incorrectly and
movie.
he bothered to educate himself, and because of all that, he rushed this bad piece of representation out,
Mhm.
and yeah, all this to say that education on different cultures is important, so we can give these people the voice that they deserve, and can
Right.
platform them.
That's a really nice answer, Julian. I like that.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
So before we move on, does anyone want to add to this question?
I'll do you one better. Why is this question?
You know what? I didn't really think about that. Damn, that's pretty
I'll
deep.
do you a one.
I really wish I was on my computer.
Who
so
was
I
this
could
question?
soundboard.
Who
Now
is
you're
this question?
I don't have Nitro to use my soundboard, so
It'd be like that.
Where's
Look,
my internet
Nitro-
when you need it, man?
a subscription of Discord Nitro cost me the same as a subscription to the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy.
Oh,
You're doing the best
God.
marketing for this. I love it.
it really is. Are you
Alright.
sponsored?
But no, I'd wish. But I just like to.
You know what,
shout
we're sending
out
this video
the
Square
art
Enix so you can
that
get
I
sponsored.
think it's worth people trying out.
Okay. Because they were literally talking about it today, but I'm like, I
Yeah.
have to pay a subscription. I don't know.
Alright, so we go move on to
The
the
free
next
trial
question.
has no subscription. You only have to pay a subscription once you decide to continue with the story. But you get 3 video games for free, all the content for free. The only time that you have to pay for it is because you say, well, shit, I kind of just want to play the rest.
Yeah, okay.
And in that case, you've already played
Hopefully my
3
PC can
expansions
run
of it. You should be able to justify whether or not you like it. I was the same way. I didn't like MMOs. Then I did that meme of where I took one bite and I have not looked back.
Like Squidward with the Krabby Patties.
Yeah, I'm Squidward with Krabby Patties, but this is the only MMO.
Alright. Next question here is, do you think non-Latinos have a say on how Latinos are represented? Now, this was a question that Gerald actually came up with when I was asking him about the questions. And the example that he brought up was how a lot of game journalists who weren't Mexican were offended about the desert level in Mario Odyssey being Mexican inspired.
Not just the level. It wasn't just the level. It was mostly like Mario's his getup.
Oh yeah, he also wore a poncho and a sombrero.
Yeah, and a poncho.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember people got onto that, but it's funny because the only people that were really complaining were people that weren't even a part of the culture to begin with.
Bro,
like people.
I hate when they do that. There's people that want to get offended for
behalf.
everyone.
If I saw
Like,
Yeah,
don't
like-
do that. That's fine.
Like everyone else was actually super happy with the representation. Like everyone I knew that was Latino was like, that's so sick. Mario looks so cool,
if
bro.
Mario was anywhere near like dressed or having adventures in a country that felt like my own home, I think I'd be more excited than him.
That's
Right?
awesome. Yeah.
Yes.
If Mario just came up to me dressed up like a Hirako, I would fucking love that shit.
Oh, I would
Yeah.
cry. I would.
eat
Can you
that shit
imagine
up.
con la pava? Oh.
That'd
That's
be like my
my
profile
favorite.
picture on everything for like a year.
Yeah, because like Mario,
Yeah,
I see him
now
more
you
as
Mario
like a
to show
generic
up and you go,
character.
"Mama,
I don't
huevo."
really see.
Not you saying Mama Huevo!
No, Mama
huevo.
I'm
¿Qué más
so-
vas a hacer aquí?
I'm so done.
Mal,
That's the funniest.
Iconic. And
Literally,
then
what a
make
king!
Bowser Dominican. Make Bowser Dominican.
We already have
Con la
Dominican
yaya.
Ganondorf.
and him. No. Hear me. Oh my God. Not the
Fernando.
Dominican Ganondorf. I fucking me up.
We were
The
gonna have a
song.
Dominican on the panel today too, shit, but he had to
There's a
cancel
whole
his work.
song. There's a whole song about him, like
Literally,
Ganondorf. So funny.
it is.
So can you imagine a Dominican Bowser trying to hit on Peach? Pero mami, ¿qué pasó, mami? Can you imagine?
Wait, I think I know what you're talking about. Wait, hold
I
on.
mean, like the stereotype is that Dominicans siempre están tirando labia, like they're always trying to get chilly with women.
Yeah, it's like a big
So
stereotype.
it would be funny. It would be
Yeah,
so
that
good.
one!
Yes, that's the one.
Yes!
It's Suavemente. It's by
Yeah.
what's his face?
I
Elvis
know.
Crespo.
It's Suavemente. Yeah, he's from
Yeah.
here.
Elvis
But
Crespo.
it's funny.
It's a
It's
funny.
What's
just
the
so
channel that did it?
perfect.
Have you guys seen the commercial of Verizon? But it's just Elvis Crespo singing the song is the Suavemente, but he's changing the lyrics to be the ads.
What? No.
I don't really remember if it's Verizon or something, but like it's basically a U.S. company. They got Elvis Crespo to do like an official Suavemente. It's the music video for Suavemente, the lyrics in the song for Suavemente, but he just changed the letters.
Damn, I guess he
Yeah,
really
it's-
needed that coin.
Oh, we both sent it.
Oh, nice. Oh, wow, at the same time. That's wild.
I love this. This is best. This is the best video recording ever.
It's great because it's like a narrator voice. So like an AI narrator voice talking over it. It's Suavemente. Like
Yeah.
they're talking, they're not singing. It's so freaking funny.
Yeah.
One of my
And the
friends
reason I
is
know
obsessed with
this-
that meme. That's the reason
It's
I have
because-
the emote.
I know this because one of the streamers that I stream with here in the island, he has those to like claim. So we get his tokens and we claim, and he just starts running suavemente, 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 otra vez, and you see him dancing across the screen.
Albert, we
It's
go
so
do
great.
karaoke
If
one
you
night.
go to,
Sure.
oh my
Fuck
god,
yeah.
I love karaoke.
I have.
If
a
you
band
come
on
to
my
a party here, that song has to be on it. Like
Albert, you have to
cannot-
visit PR.
No. You really do. We will treat you really nice. You know, we got good food,
Mm-hmm.
we got good people, we got fun
I can
places.
attest to that. I visited last summer and they treated me so nice.
Yeah.
I
Like we
I'm
love
used to-
people. I don't know why they make us out to be just drug dealers in every show.
No, y'all are
Like,
so chill, man. Like I would live there if I could.
We just enjoy life. Like we try to, even with the mess that we have,
Yeah.
like politically, we really try to just enjoy life.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, since you're on that
Really
topic,
do.
no, yeah, because
We got so
I
much
come-
shit that we don't really care about anything else. We're just trying to have a good time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, like, we have to deal
Yeah,
with the
'cause I
power
feel
going
like-
out. We gotta deal with like America
That
trying to take
sucks.
our shit.
All the potholes.
All the potholes on the
Oh,
road.
trash.
Our governor's
to
being
answer
terrible.
The question, I feel that it's usually silly when it's like with a Mario example. And the reason I think it's silly is because it's obviously just, in most of the cases, it's just websites trying to get money via clicks. And
yeah, pretty much.
They kind of weaponize, and I use the term loosely, the whole people and communities and social, like politically correct social justice
political agendas,
So just to get clicks and stuff like that, and I just find that extremely disgusting.
No, yeah.
It's so unfortunate though, because
I don't really, I wouldn't
it
really
just fuels the
mind
fire.
if
It's an unnecessary problem.
voicing the genuine concerns from like a community, and they're just trying to help give it a voice. But it's another thing when it's something like that, and you can just clearly tell they're just trying to get.
Like, you know. I don't know. The way I see it is like
Mario
not every
isn't
Latino is
real.
gonna have
Why
the same
does it
perspective
matter
on it,
what
because
funny
maybe there
outfit
were
you wear?
Latinos that were offended by it. You know,
Yeah.
someone with a stick up their ass.
Like
But you know, for the most part, I feel like
I feel like it's a bit of like a white guilt thing.
stay out of our fucking business. Like we can handle.
Like
it
if it's not something like they're killing us or something, why?
If it's not, you know, the president of the United States throwing paper towels at us after a hurricane, yeah, I'm not
Oh
sure if I would talk about it.
I still have nightmares about that. I hate him so much. So I just think I'm not gonna get into that. Everybody knows that I hate that guy. Moving on.
All right, so we have about 4 questions left. Actually, no, 5. We're gonna try and do this like relatively quick, since it's getting pretty.
Speed round,
late.
let's go.
All right. So, the next question is, what trends have you noticed about Latinos in media? And one example I can give is the spicy Latina. You know, like the bully character who's like sassy. Think La Cienega from Proud Family, Maddie from Euphoria.
Oh, you mean like in shows? Because when you said trends, I thought you meant like TikTok. I'm like, I'm not on the TikTok.
I thought this was like a TikTok trend type of thing.
I'm not on the TikTok.
Speak Spanish challenge, impossible.
Would you?
I've noticed the spicy Latina. Usually they make Latina women bitches or gay or both. There's like no in between. I think the only one that was kind of nice was Jane the Virgin. Yeah. And they gave her. I feel very identified with her in the sense of how her grandma was with her when you come to like virginity and stuff. That they got it right. But as the show went on, she just turned into like this bitchy Latino woman that we get across most.
And it's like we get that so often.
We really do.
I'm never gonna forgive
like Santana, Rosa. They have like the same attitude. Santana was worse. They have terrible attitude, but they're both just.
Well, Santana is more
and
the
Maddie,
stereotypical
they just
like, spicy
make her
Latina,
like fighting.
whereas Rosa is like more like stone cold badass, but like she just happens to be Latina, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I will never forgive fucking Proud Family for giving us like the only Latino character in like the main cast whose name is literally translates to the swamp.
Wait, there's a Latino character in
La Cienega.
I do not remember that show. It's in that the Black Family,
Proud Family, yes.
With the black one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember the characters. I know there was a girl that was like blonde and a blue.
I could not tell you the character's name.
Me neither. I have no idea. I just randomly remember that there was a movie and the family got switched with clones, and that's the only thing that I remember because it gave me nightmares. It gives me nightmares. I only remember it because I got so paranoid that my whole family was
yeah.
I thought it happened. I thought that could happen. I would ask my mom,
That'd
like,
be
okay,
scary.
only you would know this. Because I was like, what are the probabilities, you know, of getting the whole family switched by clones? But yeah, usually it's just the stereotype.
Yeah.
If it's a male Latino character, they're usually just poor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or sluts.
Yes.
Somehow.
Or just at boys in general.
Yeah. Or like drug dealers.
Yeah.
Mostly drug dealers, yeah.
That's unfortunately still big, yeah.
So are there any other trends that we've noticed before we move on to the next question?
I've noticed that normally like female characters tend to be sassy or like tomboy.
Yeah, the spicy Latina
Yeah.
that we were saying.
Yeah, that's the
Hot-tempered,
thing. Always
spicy,
tomboy.
Or very smexy too.
Yeah,
What's that?
I feel like it's I've definitely seen more archetypes with characters. I don't really want to say like a particular example because sometimes I like to give the benefit of the doubt that it's just like, all right, we have this one character and they're like this particular archetype for the plot. Let's just make it a Latino for the sake of just having either more exposure or something like that. So, but I've noticed that there's just like a genuine like overabundance of like, all right, it's a Latino character, and they either love parties, they love, they tend to be super extroverted in general and stuff like that as well.
Yep.
And then like extremely sassy, and at times even like a little bit of a superiority complex, which I do not
Yeah.
1000%.
Yeah, and they also make them play the victim card a lot. Like, if somebody confronts and they're like, is it because I'm a woman or because I'm not white? Like, there's always that line somewhere. And it's
or
like,
their plot line has to do with like deportation because
immigrant every time. Yeah.
Oh god.
Don't even get me started on that shit. Like, I could go on for fucking hours about that.
That's a fun topic.
But aside from that, is there anything else you want to add to this question before we move on?
I like birds.
I like birds too. They're pretty cool.
That's what I'll add. There's a
They're government spies.
They're not real. They're not real.
They're drones.
They used to be
They're a
domesticated.
figment of your imagination.
They're not real. They're not real, y'all. They're not real.
There's a great
Yeah, the pigeon on my window ledge was speaking in Morse code.
I'm gonna clip that pigeon.
We're gonna move on. So the next question is, what are some struggles you see a non-Latino writer having when writing for a Latino character?
Not falling into stereotypes.
That's a good
I
one.
think it's falling to stereotypes and just trying too hard.
Yes, I feel that's a big
I feel
one.
that you should first focus about them being a character and just
that's what I was gonna say.
If you can remove the Latino out of them and they're still an interesting character, then you're golden.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel that. But
Trying
the
too much to
opposite
find
also applies. There's
representation
also
rather than
like
trying to fit the
good cultural representation
Yeah.
as well. You know,
Yeah,
like
I feel like they struggle because they feel that they have to be.
They feel like they make the
inclusive
country
with
the character, and that's
representing
not
the
really-
culture somehow, or making.
Yeah, your whole personality is your country. That's just sad.
They have to
like I
represent
said
them
earlier, Mexican is
perfectly,
not a
and then they forget
personality
about
trait. You know, it's not a character.
So I feel like the usual problem is that they should just treat the characters as first persons without like any other identity or culture or background. If the character is already good and you can create an interesting journey and grow for them, then the rest is just kind of like going to be like the icing on the cake.
Okay.
And if you do have to like put it to that particular thing, then just don't be afraid of just doing your research and stuff like that.
Yeah. I feel like that really piggybacks into this next question. I don't want to move on to the next question, but I feel like that's like a perfect segue for it. And you can still like these two can like literally be interchanged, which is not interchanged, but like you can still talk about them both at the same time, which is, do you think non-Latino characters can write Latino characters?
Of course.
Yeah.
They can, but
Yeah.
they have to be careful and respectful of the culture that they're into.
I agree. I feel they definitely should have someone to talk to about it. Like, at least do your research or do like a culture thing about it, just to make sure it's not.
That they're not crossing any boundaries or offensive or anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Like, just to be respectful. You know, don't make us all
And
drug
listen to others'
dealers or
voices.
struggling with deportation, or a sassy or a spicy Latina type. You know.
I think anyone with common sense doesn't have to worry about that, honestly.
I think it's just
I
like a
agree.
bit of a common sense.
I think people just try too hard to be politically correct, and they end up
everybody
making
can
trash.
write
Stuff.
about anything. It's just there's a clear difference between those who are trying to shoehorn something in there, those who are trying to appeal to a demographic, and those who are just trying too hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep it simple.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be that
Treat your
complicated.
Latino characters the same way you would treat any other character.
Yeah, we're just people at the end of the day.
Just make them an alien and then add some melon. I'm just kidding. It's fine.
I mean, make them cyborgs.
Yeah, it troubles
You know,
up.
give him 3 arms.
Nah, I want to be a cool robo person like the mayor from Ghost in the Machine.
Mood. What a fucking mood.
We did it.
Alright. Julian, do you have anything to add to that?
I think the words were taken right out of my mouth. With a good education and just overall listening to the people you're trying to represent. I think.
Okay, so if that's the case, we're going to move
That's
on to the
good.
last question, which we basically kind of already answered. It's, what advice would you give to writers watching this video on creating Latino characters.
Okay.
Which we literally just answered right now.
Write anyone else. Just write.
Literally,
like
just
you
be
would write
humble.
anyone else.
Just treat them as you would want to be treated. Honestly, it just comes down to that.
Yeah.
Just be respectful. If you have any questions, just like look it up, ask people.
Like
Yeah,
I feel like
if you have
people are
questions, like-
so afraid to ask nowadays, right? Like just
Yeah.
ask them. I would never be offended if
We're
somebody
not that
were
hard to
ask me,
find.
like,
No, dude,
yeah, and we're mostly chill. Like if somebody were to ask me about my country, my culture, I'm like, sure. Where do you want to start? What do you want to know?
yeah,
Just don't
at least from
come
my
to me with
perspective, like,
assumptions.
all the Mexican communities that I've known are like super wholesome. Like we're so communal. We love helping other people, or like sharing, like common interests, and just like keeping it real. I'm assuming it's the same with all other Latino cultures as well.
Yeah.
And I will say that for those who are writing and are not Latinos, and they have not had the pleasure of interacting or being exposed enough to Latino
Or tasting our
people
food.
and all that other stuff, please do
They're
not
missing
feel
out,
afraid.
man.
Please do not feel afraid about reaching out. It's never too late. You're more than welcome to have anybody just be part of the big old family. And even then, don't feel afraid of just asking people online for second thoughts for whatever it is that you might be unsure. And I feel that as long as you're going with an open mind for feedback and criticism, you should probably just get some genuine feedback as well. So it's just don't feel afraid of just trying to just join a community or something.
100%. Yeah.
And it shows you care. I feel like people will be more obligated to help you out because you're showing curiosity and concern over doing this right. So.
Exactly.
And if you have an experience that is
Showing
negative
interest too.
with that, please do not
Yeah,
let
exactly.
that
Showing
completely,
For sure, yeah.
cloud your judgment that everybody is like that. There are obviously bad apples everywhere, so just make sure that you're checking out the person's character first before you move on.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Okay.
Oh my god.
And we're usually nice,
So awesome!
And if you need more foods, you can put arepas, you can put empanadas, you can put.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
If you have flour and water, we got you.
Exactly. You got rice, we got you.
Oh my god, rice.
You're immediately in the group.
Arroz.
Yeah.
Alright, those were
Arroz
all
y
the
frijoles.
questions. I want to thank each of you for coming in here and, doing this video with me. I really do appreciate it. In the comments, you can let us know like if we missed any questions. If you have any questions yourself, if you are writers and you want to write for Hispanic characters, you can let us know. I'm gonna be putting everybody's channels and social media on the description below.
If you ever need help with any other projects, feel free to. Literally, you can reach out to me.
Oh, you're such a king!
I really thought he was gonna talk about Final Fantasy again.
I know, right?
I was like, I was expecting that. I noticed a pattern.
Yeah, he talks about Metroid too.
I noticed a pattern. Like, here we go. Let's go with the last ad. Let's do it. Put it in there.
I'm playing Final Fantasy 13, but no, I mean, feel free to definitely reach out. Discord is probably the best way if you're trying to reach me. But like I write, I animate, I do all this other stuff. I'm used to giving people feedback, so if you ever need some help, don't feel afraid or too discouraged to reach out for help.
Oh my god, that is so sweet!
What a guy.
What team?
Oh, I'm sending you a hug, Albert.
Oh.
I mean, I just want to be able to help promote other people's arts and help bring their ideas and their stories to life in general.
What a fucking champion for the people! Holy shit!
That's just it's been my
4 años más. 4 años más.
4 años más.
By the way, it goes for any art medium. It doesn't necessarily just need to be video animation, writing, music, performative arts. I'll try my best to supply some people.
Fuck yeah! Awesome. Alright, any closing thoughts, ladies and gentlemen?
I really think that arepas are underrated, and that needs
No, they're not. They're in everything. I don't think they're underrated.
I don't think they're underrated, but they are in the US, so yes.
I do think not enough people have tried them.
Yeah.
But I think once they do, it changes your life.
I meant to say that. I meant to refer to
Yeah,
that.
for sure. But they're not. Dude, I love arepas. They're everywhere.
Everybody knows that.
There's literally like there's an arepa truck outside my house, and they know my order by heart. I just walk there. They're like, here you go.
What is Tostarena Pepiada or?
No, it's 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 literally this Venezuelan lady that she moved here and she just sells like arepas.
Yeah, but
All
what's
day.
your order? What's your standard?
Oh, I get the. I don't even know the name. Hold on. Let
She
me
don't
look
even
for a
know.
picture. Es que
There's so-
es rellenas,
so many-
son re
There's so many
rellenas.
of them that I don't really blame people who don't know.
The one that I really like es una que le echan pulpo. Y yo no soy de comer
Oh,
pulpo.
they put
But
octopus
Oh,
on it?
yeah.
Oh.
yes, porque son
I'm a
rellenas. Que
fiend
te
for
las dan
seafood.
normal y te
I
las
love
dan rellenas.
I
Y
love
si es
what's
de
it called?
camarones, oh.
I love ceviche. You ever had that?
Oh,
Oh, yeah, I
yeah.
love
Yes, of course.
Ceviche's so good, man.
Fresquecito.
I love paella.
Paella.
Oh my god, yeah.
So good.
Oh, actually, the place is good. And there's like una franquicia que se llama La Preña, and son arepas.
Oh yes,
Se
I've
llama La
been
Preña.
there.
It's just arepas. It's so good.
They used to have a
I
truck
love
right
it.
in front of where I live.
I love cachapas.
Yeah, you
I
go
love
to that one.
costeños.
Yeah.
I
Y
love
tienen hasta arepas dominicanas que le echan queso frito. No me acuerdo qué más.
I love how the closing thoughts came about food.
Oh, this is so
Oh,
good. That's the
I've
thing
never
about
thought
like
it-
Latinos. We love
Viewers,
food.
take notes.
And we share food.
Take notes,
Food
we
good.
love
Yeah,
food.
okay, sure,
Write this
sure.
down.
yeah, we love food. If you want to be friends, food, stomach is usually the best way to become friends.
100%.
Yeah, actually, that's true. That's true. That's true. When I lived in DC, we had like a Latino group, and all of the white guys will come just to taste the food.
Just to taste
Yeah.
the food.
It's just
Like
the fact
I
that,
was
like,
there, and I was the only Puerto Rican. They're like,
I
"Can you
had
make
a similar
chuleta?" And I'm
experience in
like,
New York.
Sure. They're like, "¿Qué puede hacer arroz con gandules?" I'm like, "Sure, let me call my mom for the recipe."
So many of our local
And they
Spanish
even
restaurants are
they
so
even
popular.
gave me like a certificate of how grateful they were because they never have food. That
Wow.
tasty.
Wow.
Yeah, in DC, it was a nice community.
That's
But
nice.
there weren't many Puerto Ricans. There were a lot of Puerto Ricans, but not like where I was specifically. They were more in like the private sector because I was working government, which is another identity crisis thing. You know, when you're Puerto Rican and you work for the federal government, it's quite a.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Oh god.
I was having an identity crisis. Not gonna lie, like because I had to do a polygraph and it was like, what do
Yeah.
I say? I don't know because they're like, do you want to serve your country? I'm like, which one? They're like, what do you mean, which one? You in a country? And I'm like, it's exactly. Exactly.
I'm dead. That's funny.
But yes,
Oh my
food, good food. We will make you food. We will I will never give you the recipe, but I will definitely feed you.
Yeah.
We like watching novelas. It's better than soap operas. I promise.
Like
That's all I'm
telenovela.
saying. If not, we can just share some chisme. That's
Some
a
tea?
universal thing.
There's so much cheese,
We
man.
also,
Oh my god.
we also just enjoy a good joke in general. So if you ever have a good funny joke, just go ahead and say it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
Just please don't make it like a wall joke. I've heard so many of those.
Oh my god, please don't. Please don't.
Ugh, please
Again, be
don't.
respectful.
Gosh,
I'm
I
gonna
remember
end it off
one, it
here,
was
but
like a-
before we end it off, I want to give a special thanks to TGMG,
Hey,
the Gaming Master Guy John.
critically acclaimed MMORPG, Final Fantasy.
I knew it.
I knew
there it
it.
is.
Waiting
I
for
fucking
it.
as soon as I heard him talk, I knew it. I want to thank John, the owner of the Gaming Master Guys, and ZupperWill, who unfortunately couldn't make it for this video. And I also want to give a special thanks to my best friend XMARC, who helped me fix up my setup because that was a fucking disaster.
Ooh, Mark to go.
Oh, I can
Mark
imagine him judging you.
Oh, he
I wanna
was
give
I
a
can
100%.
feel it.
But
I can feel it.
the art that you guys are going to be seeing on screen, it was made by our good friend here, Julian. Just check out his Instagram page, linked below.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. And much love to you guys. Stay safe. Love you. Mwah.
Shout out to Grandma, because I love you.
Bye.
And that about wraps things up. I really hope you guys liked it as much as I did. The questions that I missed are: do you think the media we consume has a hand to play in creating or propagating stereotypes of Latinos? What are some common mistakes you've seen about Latinos in the media that you've consumed? And has the representation of Latinos improved in the media over the past 10 years? I'll be putting my answers in the comments below and we can start a nice discussion there. I love reading your guys' comments. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if I taught you something new. Much love. Mwah. Gee, thanks, Albert, you cocksucker. You made me hungry while editing this shit. Now I gained 20 pounds, you fucking asshole!